Hello guys, welcome to round 7. So they haven't kicked off the boards yet. And the boys are ready. This is the time when you're at the NCS when you're playing these tournaments. Just waiting for the games to start and hoping you are ready for what's about to happen. Let's see what the lineup is like. So from the top, we've got Max Menov from Kazakhstan playing Dmitry Pelikov. These are under 10s, 1421, 1557. And on board 2, another Russian playing an Indian, Nikolai Kirmenov playing against Ethan Vaz from India. And then we've got Greece, right? Oh, Argentina playing Russia again. Russia's got a lot of top boards in this tournament. Kagan Ahmad is the highest rated, I think, or at least one of the highest rated players from Azerbaijan, but he's not sitting on board 1 here. Our boys are, let's see who's the top South African player in this group. The top South African is Ethan Munsami, who's been performing well. He's sitting on board for 56. He's followed by Chase Salimu on board 77, and then below him is Samuel Driscoll on board 78 playing white, and he is followed by Raniva Tak on board 88, and then Matt Shapiro on board 95, who's playing Yao Lin Chen, also a South African player. And then we have Mokil on board 105, a South African playing white. And yeah, we've got about 110 boards, so that is about 220 kids at the World Youth under 10. So yeah, the battle is very real for them. And we'll get to see what it's like competing at this level. So as we wait, there they go. The boards are underway. So when that bell sounds, they start releasing these boards so that we can actually follow. So where are they? Matthew Shapiro is over there. So Chess Salim is board 77. There you go. Okay, so we are going to see a King's Indian. Chess loves the King's Indian, so he was looking at this setup before the tournament started. And from what we saw in preparing for this round, this boy loves playing the King's Indian with g3. In fact, he loves playing the English. So he's going to castle and play d4 and castle short. And Chase has got this line which he was looking at, which starts with d6 here. Of course, d3 is a very unambitious. So in our previous preparation, we had seen that he had played d4 in this position, but now he changed his tactic. He might have looked at a few of Chase's game probably. He just is going to go for the classic King's Indian setup with e5. And of course, the whole setup of this English opening is to have influence on the light square diagonal. And here he prepares to play b4. This is a standard sort of idea in this opening. Yeah, and this is an usual response. Going to just undermine the whole idea of playing b4. And if he does, then black gets an open file, which is sufficient, maybe a compensation for this. But I suspect that at this point, Chess would have to start thinking how he's going to play this, because the English is usually not about lines, because here white has chosen to keep it pure English. It's more about ideas. So you need a plan of action here, how we are going to conduct your pieces. So knight c6. So he's going to press on, and here, to be consistent, white probably should just go b4. But it is a bit funny, considering that he hasn't finished the development, but is starting this whole queenside play. Yeah. An interesting idea. Maybe he wants to push f5. You have to have something you're working with here. Of course, yeah, f5 makes sense with the idea of just going e4, attacking the knight, at the same time attacking this knight with the bishop. This knight hanging here it's not a very nice scenario. So it's whites tend to go into the tank a little bit. He's got a few straightforward ideas. e4 is not coming in immediately, so he has time to castle. And if f5, then he has to maybe play bishop somewhere. It's not really what you would like to do. He has to move the knight to d4, d5. It will later on be chased with this move c6. So maybe you have to think twice about that. It makes sense that he thinks at this point how he's going to arrange this piece. So he starts with knight d5, safety first. Now Chess has to make a plan on how he intends to carry out his idea. To be consistent, f5 makes sense. But there's always ideas like bishop g5, and you have to wonder. It's not really important, that move. It's okay. f5 is playable. So he is just maybe thinking. Starts with bishop e6. This is usually not a move you want to make in this scenario when you have two pieces here in the English. It's not a good idea usually. Less of a threat here, but would make you think twice. So here, one criticism I can have for white is he still is not castled. The players seem to be managing their time quite wisely. 10 moves in 3 minutes. In the opening, it's not bad. You really don't have much time in these rapid games, so you have to push as quickly as you can. The one other problem with having moved the knight is the 7th rank is not now. This shows a big uncertainty, and you can see quickly chase goes for this f5. Now e4 is a serious threat because it wins material, of course. And okay, very smart. If you move back, let's say bishop c8, he wants to come and say check here on d5. And then play knight f7 check. What's the best way of treating this? You can't play bishop f7, he will take. And if you take with the rook, then you've got a pin here. A stronger player would be prepared to actually say, okay, let me take my bishop to d7. And then when you attack with check, I'm going to move my king to h8. When you play knight f7, I'll take rook f7, bishop f7. And then the argument would be the compensation is worth it. The compensation of the bishop for rook in this position after something like rook f7, bishop f7, e4, hitting the knight and threatening, and then okay, this is not bad, but I don't like the e3 idea. This is probably just a mistake. Yeah, e3 is just very strong. Maybe he's thinking e3, and it can get very complex after h6, because knight f7 is exactly what he wants. Knight takes, but let's say e3, h6, take, and then take on g5, and maybe it's got sufficient compensation. It's a bit tricky. But definitely playable. Let's see how he handles this position. White is taking his time. There is, of course, things like bishop takes pawn, but considering that he's so behind in development, you should have castled. It's very difficult to be busy stealing pawns in this kind of position. And white is using a lot of time to make his decision on this point. There's a problem with these rapid games is if you use too much time to make a good decision, you might regret having done that, because the later parts where you need to convert the advantage into a win, you might struggle because of insufficient time. And this complexity in this position has made it very hard for white to just simply make a decision. He's got too many choices of moves which he can make, which are not so clear also. He could play bishop takes pawn, and then black would simply maybe play rook b8, and the bishop has to go back, and he's got the initiative, and he could use that initiative to his favor. And this time he's gone way too much on this move. Not sure what's goes knight b5. This is a weird pattern. I know he really wants this bishop. Again, black always has this choice of he always has this choice of just saying, okay, good, I'll take one of the knights for the bishop, like bishop c8, for instance, and go for a practical position where the bishop ends up being on f7. In fact, in this particular case, it might even be better. Take on this is a mistake, I think. But let's see what the plan is. Because Mr. likes combinations, maybe. Knight takes, knight c3, and yeah, then he goes knight c3, or queen e7, knight c3. Queen e7, knight c3, yeah. Oh, you can't take. Oh no, you can take now, because now if pawn takes, then queen takes, there's nothing anchoring the bishop on d5. So this could work out in black's favor. Sometimes the problem is when a player gets to this position, he's probably looking at the position again in a new unit of time and realizes there's a few details that they probably missed. Now they have to recalculate. Remember that he jumped into the tank a little bit earlier, figuring this position out. And now he has to jump into the tank again to figure this position out. And here he actually made the decision quick. So here maybe knight d4, then knight d4. Yeah, knight d4 makes sense, because you go knight d4, he has to take back, pawn takes, and it's not the rosiest position, but black has got something to play for. Besides having the extra time, he has a bit of initiative after pawn takes. Bishop takes by white, followed by bishop d5 check, would secure a slight advantage, which would still need to be with some conversion, but okay, that's the game. But he's taking time over these obvious decisions. He might regret not being more efficient with his time. So white has a clear advantage here after bishop takes with the bishop here, and let's say rook. This is not right. I'm not sure why he does this. Okay, he just can make some good moves here. Pawn takes, yeah, makes sense, very logical. Okay, and then here maybe you can just play c6. Yeah, very practical. And now, at some point, Black has to decide about the king. This pawn is not weak, it's very strong, supported by this King's Indian bishop. And White has gone down too much on time now. So it's no longer about just the position. And it's still taking a lot of time. I mean, you don't need to decide about castling. He's so intent about winning this pawn, but there's so many liabilities about winning that pawn. He's going to regret this particular decision. F4 here can have you wishing otherwise. But besides F4, there's other very easy moves like this. Threatening mate if you try to go for the d4 pawn. And you can't castle, because now this pawn is being exposed for its weaknesses. It's a very exciting match in terms of entertainment, because there's stuff happening. It's like, you know, kids don't hold back. Okay, and the time here. Okay. Very good move by White. Not so sure how to meet this. Yep, open it up. If you want to open up use your bishop to take the knight, this is a waste, because Black has a lot of open lines against the White king, and he's going to use those open lines. So here, also taking is not good. Maybe here a good idea might be to just play g4 and say, okay, I'm not so sure why that. That's a blunder. Bishop takes. There's many wrong things about this. I know he wants to recover with this check. But I doubt this is the move you want to make, yeah? Very good. Now pawn takes on g3. And Chase is planning to take on f3 with the rook. Rook takes f3. Yep. I don't think White had anticipated it. This is the problem. He didn't castle. I mean, it's move 24. And we were talking about this, like, oh, at some point you have to do this. At some point you have to do this. And these are the consequences. Now this rook can now go safely and join in the attack on the e pawn, possibly. And here, this is the problem for using a lot of time earlier. Of course, he's got 2 minutes and he's got 8 seconds. Yeah, and this move was threatening to come and check here. So it's looking for blood now. The rook has to go back because there's no pin anymore. Okay, he wants to play g4. you have to go for simple direct threats. Yep. Attacking the queen for an exchange, and at the same time, yep, exchange rooks now might be a good idea. It's got a lot of time. Yeah. So this is a simple position for like more about technique. Then knight can come to d5. Yeah, knight takes rook. Okay, rook can come to collect. Technique is an area we've been working on a lot, so you can bring the other rook and you can take here. Okay, now it's clearly winning for black, but you know, kids, it's not done until it is over. Yeah, the right move would be to keep protecting the pawn, but this is not bad also. Check now from behind to protect the pawn. Can check the king, sort of separate him from the pawns. It's very important. Still, this check is very important. Then you can enter here and the pawns can't move. It's very important. Okay, here you might as well continue with this plan. Then go here. Seems to have gotten the idea. The rook, need to worry about this. Yeah, good. Cutting off the king. Now the rook can go here. The king is cut off. This pawn will promote. King takes. And pawn push. Yep, now he's gotten it figured out. This pawn will promote. Yeah, this point is now in the bag. Very good technique. Still needs some polishing, but definitely it's now a question of delivering checkmate. He offered a draw under these circumstances. And mate. Wow, well done. Very nice game. Very well done. So as soon as he gets released by the arbiters, he might be able to come through to discuss this game.
It was close. He had some harsh tactics.
Have you been released by your arbiters? Okay, good. Welcome.
That was a difficult game.
Yes, well done. Come, join us. We were actually going over the game. Okay, so
he made a good tactic. He could have won a pawn or suit too.
I thought he was better, yeah. He had some really nice position. So here, it went according to plan. Except when he played d3, we didn't prepare for this one. But it's a general position. It's like an English position.
Generally occurs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a position that's so common.
Yeah, yeah.
A3, A4 kind of, A5 kind of gets counterplay.
Yes, exactly. And you get an open file. Just think he gets a b4, but you get counterplay.
Here.
I like this idea, but I wasn't really sure. It wasn't the most
best way. I wanted to play F3.
F5.
F5, but also I was prepared for bishop to G. Because bishop to G4, F6, bishop H4, and you lose a pawn.
Yeah, yeah. Piece.
And then I'll go F4 and delay. Then I'll go Queen E2, but then he's delaying himself by going to the square twice.
Yeah, yeah. So knight D5. I wasn't sure about this idea, but I don't know why he wasn't castling. So bishop E6. So in these positions, the bishop on E6 is usually a mistake. Whenever you've got a knight here and and the bishop on e6. There's so many combinations.
Okay.
So if you are not sure, it's good to put your bishop on d7, or actually keep it on c8 anyway.
Okay.
So bishop e6, knight c3. So here I remember I was thinking
F4
the reason
was a
why
blank.
exactly I was thinking why knight h5. You wanted to play f5 with the idea of e4.
E4 wasn't possible there.
Yeah, not immediately.
I'm surprised I managed to defend against that big of a mistake then.
Yeah, and this I didn't actually foresee it. So
I had to use a lot of time, but he used a lot of time to try to punish me.
yeah. So
But he was so low on time, it was easier.
yeah, so what I thought here was maybe
Knight to d5 is like, and I was prepared for e6, then queen takes. Then I had to go back, and then he takes, and takes. Not.
oh, you were banking on this. But what I thought was maybe you need
Bishop to c8 is followed by there.
check, yeah.
King h8, check.
I was thinking this might be good for you.
Yeah, but I know I found a way to
this
lose
one.
2 pawns.
This one.
Okay, but I found a way to lose 2 pawns instead of a rook and a bishop, because in the King's Indian, a rook is like everything. Like when you're a black attacking, a rook is everything.
Yeah. So here, knight here. This was interesting attack.
This was
But it took too much time to make this decision. It took him almost 3 minutes to decide on knight b5.
You see, we were both in time trouble.
Yeah. And here, knight b5, knight e6,
But I had this plan because queen.
knight c3. Exactly. Yeah. Very good idea.
But bishop to d4, but playing queen c2 was like the best move.
Yeah. Queen c2.
But knight to d4 is
This
just.
is very nice. Yeah. Yes, you do. I thought he was going to take on b7.
I really thought he was just making dumb moves now.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, c5.
Take.
Maybe he was too focused on his repertoire before he actually used his brain.
Yeah, take, and c6. And now you've got a good position. He still hasn't castled.
And
I didn't understand why he was trying to win a pawn with his king in the center like this. So
he got in time trouble so bad that he forgot about my bishop.
yeah, bishop here. This was a nice move.
F4 was just, and this position's winning.
Yeah, this position is winning. Yeah, after here, check, queen e6, very nice touch.
Plus, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
I don't like my king there because you get it with tempo and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now my rook is just threatening me.
Yeah. He misses this one, rook f, and
Mom?
rook a8. Okay, yeah, rook a8 comes with a threat, check, and queen takes in here, take, and take.
Time trouble got him there.
Yeah.
And then rook b. It was still a dangerous position.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, there was some.
I was in time trouble too, though.
I know, but you had time enough to make a decision on certain things. So here, you don't want to give him a lot of activity, and you are better. But rook a6 is stronger. You see, just holding him as much as possible until you've improved your king to stop his pawns.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to worry because you are clearly winning. Here, now rook check. Again, is
Rook
strong.
check?
Yes.
Then king.
Do you see? So that's strong again. So here, this wasn't bad, but it gets risky. Takes. Oh, there was another one here. King there, he goes there. Now another rook check.
Oh.
Right? And the king has to leave the pawns. Again winning. Just better technique. Here, again rook check would be very good because then the king, he's got no chances. But here the plan you played was strong.
I just go.
And then cut off.
This is just great. I make sure I didn't roll.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be.
Hey, that's
Bellissimo.
Yeah, that is Bernice from Kenya.
Oh, so
Okay.
she knows who I am.
Yeah, you play with each other, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
On chess lang.
okay, good.
Checkmate.
We're done. So
Next round starting at 6:30.
6:30. Okay, good. So guys, we'll be back at 6:30 to cover round number
8.
Number 8, exactly. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, and see you later.